Hello everybody. My name is Antero Heikkilä and I am a doctoral researcher at the University of Jyväskylä. And my topic for you today will be that how we can approximate prediction error variances and reliabilities of genomic models using a Monte Carlo sampling. Let me first introduce you to the topic. So after we have estimated genetic values, estimated the breeding values, we want to know how accurate our results are. And two common statistics are prediction error variance, abbreviated here as PEV, and reliability. However, the exact calculation of PEVs and reliabilities requires a matrix inversion, and the dimension of this matrix scales directly with the number of individuals and traits. So, as the number of individuals and traits becomes very large, this becomes computationally infeasible. And that's why we have tested a Monte Carlo sampling-based method to approximate these exact reliabilities and PEVs. And first of all, I will define the prediction error variance and reliability. Then I will introduce you the exact method, which is a multiple trait GPLAB, then the approximation method, and in the end, we will see how this method really works. So, prediction error variance, as the name tells what it is the variance of the prediction error. Then we have the reliability, which is defined as the squared correlation between the true and predicted genetic value. And we can actually calculate this reliability by using reliability, PEV, genomic relationship matrix, and genetic variance. And a quick note that we calculate these PEVs and reliabilities for each individual. And as I mentioned in the introduction, the exact computation becomes computationally infeasible when the number of individuals and traits increases. And a little bit about the dataset. So we used simulated dataset which mimics hybrid breeding. And in hybrid breeding, we have two heterotic parent groups, and then we cross them, and then we have hybrids. We simulated the genotypes using AlphaSim-R. We had 4 genetically correlated traits, and our objective was to approximate the PEVs and reliabilities of the general combining abilities and the specific combining ability. Multiple trait GPLAB. Phenotypes are in the Y-vector, and we know that the phenotype is a linear combination of fixed effects and random effects. And now you can see that we have 3 random effect groups because we have 3 genetic value groups, namely the general combining abilities of the parents and then the specific combining ability. And as usual, we assume that the genetic values follow a multivariate normal distribution whose covariance matrix in this case is a Kronecker product of the genetic covariance matrix and genomic relationship matrix. And here we have the model again, and then we have those mixed model equations. They look huge and a bit messy, but in the end they are just an extension of the basic Henderson's mixed model equations. And with these mixed model equations, we got the estimates for the fixed effects and the predictions for the random effects. And if we denote the left-hand side of the mixed models equations as C, invert the C, and then take the diagonal values of the C, then we obtain the exact PEV values. And by using these exact prediction error variance values, we can also obtain the exact reliability values. And you see the simplified formulas in the bottom. And in this slide, we also see why the exact method becomes computationally infeasible, because we have to invert that huge matrix. So that's why we have applied a Monte Carlo sampling method for PEV and reliability approximation. And here we assume that the variance components, including genetic and residual covariances, are known. And then we will do this three-step process for NMC times, and this NMC stands for number of Monte Carlo samples. And in the first step, we will simulate genetic values and residuals. And again, we have three genetic values groups to simulate because we have the hybrid breeding where we have the general combining abilities and then the specific combining abilities. And we use the assumed distribution, and here the assumed distribution was the multivariate normal distribution. And after we have simulated these genetic values and residuals, by the way, they are denoted by U tilde and E tilde. In the second step, we will generate phenotypes. And the phenotype is a linear combination of fixed effects and random effects. However, here we do not have to simulate any values for fixed effects because we are only interested in approximating the reliabilities and BEVs of the random effects. So after we have simulated the genetic values and residuals, then we have simulated the phenotypes, and then we will solve this equation 1 using a fast iterative solver such as preconditioned conjugate gradient algorithm. And that's how we obtain the predicted random effects. And then we will do this three-step process for NMC times. And after we have done the Monte Carlo simulation for NMC times, then we evaluated 4 different formulas approximating BEVs. And you can see in the slides 2 of those, BEV1 and BEV2. And you can see that those formulas use the simulated genetic values, predicted genetic values, genomic relationship matrix, genetic variance, and are also dependent on how many Monte Carlo samples we used. And the 2 other formulas which are not shown here, they are functions of BEV1 and BEV2. And next we will see how this Monte Carlo approximation method works for approximating reliability. So, and here we see what is the effect when we increase the number of Monte Carlo samples. In the top left corner, I have used 100 Monte Carlo samples, and in the bottom right corner, I have used 1000 Monte Carlo samples. And in each picture, in x-axis, I have the exact reliability, and on the y-axis, I have the approximated reliability, and the red line here illustrates the straight y equals x, and these black dots are the approximations. So the closer the black dots are the red line, the better is the approximation. And here we can see that when we increase the number of Monte Carlo samples, our approximations get better. And next we will see what are the differences across the formulas. So now I have 4 pictures because we have evaluated 4 formulas. And again, in the x-axis, exact reliability, and on the y-axis, approximated reliability. And now in each picture, you can see that there are 3 clusters. Why there are 3 clusters? Because I have chosen the simulation parameters such that we have one group with low reliabilities, one group with moderate reliabilities, and one group with high reliabilities. And if you look at the top left corner, there is this more formula or method BEV1. We can see that it approximates well low reliability values, but the higher the reliability, the worse the approximation, because there is more deviation in the cluster. And on the other way around, upper right corner, method BEV2, it approximates well high reliabilities, but the lower the reliability, the worse is the approximation. And these 2 other methods, they seem to have pretty good approximations of reliabilities in the whole interval, and we know that reliability is always a value between 0 and 1. And now we may figure out why there are differences across these methods. And here is the reason. Because these 4 formulas, 4 methods, all of them have different sampling variances. And now in these pictures, in x-axis there is the reliability, and in the y-axis there is the sampling variance. Now the red line is the asymptotic sampling variance, and now the black dots are realized sampling variances. And if you look the top left corner again, there is the method PV1. We can see that the sampling variance is increasing when the reliability is increasing, and the higher the sampling variance, the more uncertainty there is in the approximation, so the worse the approximation is. And then the upper right corner, top right corner, method PV2, the sampling variance is decreasing when the reliability is increasing, meaning that the higher the reliability, the less there is sampling variance in the approximation. And the other 2 methods, PV3 and NF2 in the bottom, they seem to have, or actually they do have, relatively low sampling variance in the whole interval. And to conclude what we have seen, all 4 evaluated methods approximating the exact PVs and reliabilities converge to the true values when we increase the number of Monte Carlo samples. However, we saw some differences across these methods, and the differences are mainly due to the different sampling variances. And now we might think, what are the benefits of this Monte Carlo approximation method? Well, the first one is that we get consistent approximations of PVs and reliabilities. The second one is that we do not have to invert the huge coefficient matrix. And actually the third benefit is that when we use this PCG algorithm for predicting random effects, we do not even have to store the huge coefficient matrix in our RAM memory. However, the biggest drawback of this method is that we have to iterate this Monte Carlo process for a couple of hundred of times to get accurate enough results, and that means that we have to apply the PCG algorithm as many times. However, the PCG algorithm and these Monte Carlo iterations can be done in parallel, so that will a little bit mitigate the computational burden. And now it's my time to thank you all for your attention.